What's up guys, and welcome back to On Life Cars with my bent steering wheel. I normally straighten it before I do my intro, but no. Welcome back to the channel guys. If you're new around here, my name's Sam Clark. This is One Life Cars, the channel where I teach you how to fix your car. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to remove and replace the spark plugs in the Ford Fiesta Mark 5 and 6. This is a petrol engine. It's the same for all the Fiesta engines, that petrol. So there's not really much else to say. Get your new plugs, get your tools, get ready, and I'll join you outside the bonnet or inside the bonnet. Either way, I'll join you in a second for how to remove and replace the spark plugs on the Ford Fiesta. Let's go. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got the bonnet open, and the first task is to get this airbox out of the way as it's covering up your 4 spark plugs. So I'm not going to bore you with that now. If you need to know how to get this box off properly, I'll put a link at the top right hand corner of the screen now with my air filter removal and replacement video, and that's the first sort of 2 minutes of that shows you how to do this bit. And then have a look at that and join me back here with this off, and I'll show you guys how to remove and replace the spark plugs themselves. Let's go. So as you can see here, we've got the airbox off and out of the way. That reveals these 4 rubber caps here with leads coming off them, and they're your 4 HD leads which are on top of your spark plugs. So we're going to pull them out one by one. You can do it one at a time if you want, but most cars have different size leads relating to each cylinder, so you can't mix them up like this one, so you can't really get them wrong. If they do all have the same size leads, I'd suggest labelling them, or maybe tip Xing 1, 2, 3, 4 on each lead, so you don't mix them up, as you don't want to do that. You'll mess the firing order up and it won't run properly, if at all. So I'm gonna pull all these 4 out like so. Always have a quick look in and make sure there's no moisture, no dirt, no excessive crap in them basically, or water. But these all look good and dry and fairly clean actually, and they should. Now if I have to take a look in there, just about see the tops of the plugs. I'm sorry about the crap lighting. I'll get a torch on the next shot showing you taking them out. Right, so the next thing to do is find an extension bar, a long plug socket and the appropriate ratchet. I'll let you know what sizes you need in a second, and we'll look at getting them out and replacing them with the new ones. Right guys, so we have our 4 new plugs ready. I've got some cheap Denso plugs, they only cost about £4 each. We have our ratchet, extension bar and socket ready. That's a 16mm deep socket. You preferably want a proper spark plug socket, as they have a rubber bung inside them which helps grip the plug and pull it out the hole. Right guys, another top tip before we start: if you have a deep socket for your plug like this with no rubber inside it, like mine hasn't, there's a good chance now that I'll undo this plug, and as I'm trying to pull it out, it'll fall out the socket and get lost somewhere underneath that plastic cover, and then it's dead hard to get out. So there's a couple ways you can go about it. Either have a pair of long nose pliers to hand and fish them out. Again, can still be quite awkward, especially on these Ford engines. All the Focuses, Fiestas, C-Maxes with the engine up to the 1.8 petrol are a nightmare for losing plugs in them. So I strongly recommend you get a bit of cardboard, a bit of rubber, a bit of anything really that you can shove in the socket so it'll grip the plug. Just shove it into the socket, like round the outside, and as you shove it on, it'll grip the plug a bit and pull the plug out. Vice versa doing your new ones. So all new plugs have gaps on them. I'll try and show if I can get some focus. There's a gap between the white bit and the silver bit, you can see that there. Now you don't want to change that gap or knock it, but it's quite sensitive. If you drop the plug on its head, it will make the gap smaller and mess your timing up, or your ignition up should I say. So if you put your new plug into that socket to lower it in the hole, because you can't physically put it in there with your hands, you can't get down enough, and it falls out, it could damage the end of the plug. So even more reason to make sure that that plug is secure in the socket before you go into the hole, so you can just lower it gently into its thread and turn it in and tighten it. So anyway, I'm going to sort that out, make sure the plug stays still in the socket, and it's just a case of loosening all 4 plugs and replacing them with your new ones. Let's do that. Right guys, as you can see here, we've got the first plug out, and you can see, I mean, it's not completely knackered, but it's seen better days, that's for sure. The electrode's quite worn on the top. The white porcelainy bit, whatever it's called, the acrylic bits, it's quite dulled off and browned off. It's got a bit of carbon deposit on it. Like I say, it's not nothing unusual. You tell it has run a bit on the rich side at one point or another, but you know, they do still work. They're just seeing better days. It's time for a change, time for a refresher. So that's the old plug. Let's crack on with the other four, get them in, and we'll wrap this video up. I hope you found this useful, guys.